I'm Jenny. I'm from Fargo, and I'm a care coordinator at FI Project. I was raised by a single mom. I grew up watching her struggle, both with like her mental health, with relationship problems. But she did the best she could, and she was always my biggest supporter, and she did everything that she could for us. She struggled with mental health, relationship problems that led me to witness some abuse. But I watched her fight every day, and she got out of it, and she's really my biggest role model to where I got today. She got into drugs when I was younger for a couple of years, and I got to experience all the things that come around, with a parent using. The struggles with money and living with my grandparents for a little while, and just a roller coaster of different emotions and all of the struggles that come with addiction. But I also got to watch her overcome it and grow into a beautiful person. And so I really got to witness both sides of it from an early age, and that was really big for me to lead me to the person that I am today. I think watching my mom struggle with addiction and mental health had an impact on me, not necessarily in a negative way. I don't think that what she experienced led me to do what I did in any certain way, but I think that when it came to my own recovery and learning how to pull myself out of it, I think that was the biggest part for me, was knowing that addiction runs in my family a lot for generations, but also recovery runs in my family for generations too. Not only has many members of my family struggled with addiction, but they've overcome it, and I think that's the biggest piece for me. Is recovery is possible, and we can do it, and we struggle, but we can get there. When I was in an active addiction, I didn't think that I was ever going to come out of it. I fully believed that this was my life and that this was the best for everybody that I was involved with. I had fully come to terms with the fact that I was going to be an addict for my entire life at one point. And then, by the grace of God, I woke up one day and I looked at my kid. And I looked at the pregnancy test sitting in front of me that told me that I was going to have a second kid, and I knew that I didn't want to do it anymore. That was it. Most of me was scared because I didn't want to go through the same thing that I went through with my oldest. I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to get clean. Part of me was a little bit relieved, and I think it gave me what I needed to believe that things could change and that I could do it this time. That first year was hard. I started not only my recovery journey, but my pregnancy journey in jail. I was on probation, and like most of us, we don't follow through with any of our probation things. So I got revoked. And I was sentenced to 9 months in county, and I was 3 weeks pregnant at the time. And so I was like, I'm gonna have a baby in jail. This is crazy. But luckily, after good time and time served and all the things, I sat 4 months in jail. And then I got to, they let me out to do 2 months of inpatient treatment. So I did the 4 months of jail, the 2 months of treatment, and then I was released to a sober living house. And that transition was really hard for me. I didn't have a lot of structure at the sober living house that I was at. I was basically in a house all by myself. Somebody would come in and check on me once a week. I had no direction. Nobody told me this is what you should do. And I was 23 at the time, so I was still really young, and I didn't have a whole lot of life skills. Nobody said, like, you know, go get a job, start budgeting, do this, do that, get a car, all of these things I had no idea how to do, like pay bills. Like, yeah, I had done it before for a brief period of time, but like those are skills that you lose in the midst of addiction. I was lost. And I called my mom and I was talking to her. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared, you know. So I feel like I'm restarting life all over again. And so she agreed to let me move back in with her as long as I stayed sober. And so I picked up and I moved 400 miles back to Fargo, and I lived with my mom. And it was a blessing because I felt like I could finally breathe again. Like I had the support that I needed that I lacked for a really long time, but also I was 23 and I was living with my mom again. Like I felt like I wasn't where I should be at 23, but also I was where I needed to be. Like I felt like I was missing something in my life and in my recovery. Until one day I found a posting online for a peer support job. And I didn't even know that this was a thing. Like I had no idea that peer supports was a thing. Like I can use what I went through to help somebody else. What? That's insane. And not only that, but like somebody was hiring me because I had a felony. That's crazy. But it was awesome. And so I went for it. And it was the best thing that I ever did. I love what I do so much. And like helping other people know how to do when they're first getting into recovery, like paying bills and all of these things that like I had no idea what to do, or like what treatments are the best, or like you go to treatment, you go to sober living, like all of these things that can be overwhelming in early recovery. Like I can help these people navigate, and it helps my recovery too. I have almost 6 years. I'll have 6 years on December 31st. And the one thing that I think I would tell people is to just reach out, ask for help. I know it's really hard to reach out and ask for help that first time, but there's somebody there who cares.